So I don't know how I missed the email. I mean, I've been checking my email pretty consistently looking for updates on HeroQuest, the HeroQuest reprint by Hasbro. Understanding that, yes, absolutely, they're a big company. They got our money, and they're like, look, we don't have to update you because it's just going to show up one day on your doorstep, ready to play, ready to go. But I was curious in terms of maybe there's some leaks. Maybe they're going to talk about retail. Maybe they're going to talk about other aspects of the game. Now as we get closer to the end of the year shipping and production, and maybe there'll be some delays from that perspective. That would be understandable. And what was interesting was a number of you pointed out, I mean, you guys really are my secret weapon, keeping me updated. And you're like, Fritz, how'd you miss this? Pointed out the first interesting update we looked at yesterday, confirmation, strong leanings, although no official word, there will be a retail release. And that makes me really happy, not only for players that missed the reprint backing, but also just to get the game back out into the ecosystem and get new players interested in this game. Jumpstarting, not that it ever went anywhere, re-jumpstarting the fan community, getting fan content out there, much like a rebirth, a genesis of HeroQuest, to be able to see that. Now, you won't be able to purchase the stretch goals that were given, a couple of extra figures. I'm hoping there'll be a second set of dice offered. Of course, I'm sure they'll offer the smaller expansions. But this is really, really positive. It's also positive that the Dragon expansion that we missed in the Pulse Starter, I was going to call it Kickstarter, but the Pulse Starter, we just missed it. And of course, Hasbro didn't throw it in, but maybe it'll go to retail. And if you've been following my channel, you know I love dungeon crawlers. You know I love fighting dragons. So being able to take my all-time favorite dungeon crawler and fight it against a dragon, I was like, yes, I want this. So I'm hoping that this comes to fruition. Well, today we got an email, and a number of you pointed it out to me. Thank you. Fritz, you were just talking about app-based games, and we were exploring this with Fantasy Flight and the new version of Descent. Pushed that up to my channel under the Mailbag playlist today and yesterday. But apparently there's going to be an app for this, HeroQuest. That has me really excited, because one of the things that I was putting forward using Descent 2nd Edition as an example, the game started out co-op, where you played against one versus many. The players played against an overlord. You had to have someone play that. Then as Descent moved along, it had a second release of way that you could generate a random dungeon and have cards play the overlord. Certainly wasn't as complex as a human overlord, never will be, but the AI worked pretty well for what it does. So at that point, you had two ways to play Descent. Then they, of course, released the app. I loved that because I had a system that was not going to become legacy tied to an app that when they stop supporting it, I have no way to play it. I could play it as an overlord. I could play it co-op with friends. Now, HeroQuest being the genesis of this whole dungeon crawling type game, the overlord is a very important role, and you have the heroes that you can play. The HeroQuest community literally having 25 plus years, something just absolutely insane like that, to develop various things. There are systems out there in the ecosystem that let you play co-op or let you have random dungeons. So I was happy to see that covered. Now that there's an app, and of course they just showed a screenshot and they're talking about it, that has me really intrigued, because what that means is I think this is going to be a continually supported system. They're going to release it out into the wild, retail. I think we're going to see expansions. I think we're going to see that Dragon expansion. I think we might see some other quest books. I think Hasbro is looking and saying, look, we've got a great system here, HeroQuest. Let's have our own version. I mean, all these other board gaming companies are making money like crazy. We're leaving money on the table. We need our own board game. Just reinvent it and leverage that juggernaut into retail. So that tells me if you're developing an app, it's not just for the people that backed the reprint. You're looking bigger. You're looking global. You're looking longer term support. That can only be amazing for the game. I think this is going to revitalize interest in HeroQuest and propel the already amazing and fantastic community even further. from that perspective, I love an app. I love an app. Now, in yesterday's vlog, I was getting a little bit spicy here, saying I really don't want a game that's just app-driven, because I appreciate that you save time in bookkeeping and accounting, and you don't know the quest ahead of time, meaning I don't flip through the book and accidentally see something. There is a level of proficiency with an app, but then I'm tied to it. I mean, I play Runebound 2nd edition regularly, and that's from like 2008. I want HeroQuest. I've been playing HeroQuest a long, long time, since I was a young lad back in the 90s. And playing it from that perspective, if that was app-based at the time, I mean, we didn't have the tech, but if that was app-based at the time, I'm not playing HeroQuest anymore. So I love that aspect of having the analog. I don't like app only. But to have an app as a bolt-on, can I say this? Can you say this in the same sentence as Hasbro? It looks like they're really leveraging the best of the best. And the component leak looked pretty good the other day too. Dwarf looked a little bit big for scale, but it just could have been the angle or the lighting. It looks like this is going to be a really great contender for a straightforward, simplistic dungeon crawl. Now we just need that release date to follow.